This video is being brought to you by the Textual Approach to Breaking into Cybersecurity ebook. If you're thinking about getting into cybersecurity, discovering your ideal role, having trouble getting interviews, having trouble in your interviews, need LinkedIn help, or all the above, then this is the book for you. You can purchase this book at techtualconsulting.com/digital products. The link will be in the description. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy HD. Welcome back to another episode of Textual Chatter. And today I'm going to be reacting to a video entitled, "What Does a SOC Analyst Do? Salary, Certifications, Boot Camps, Skills and Tools, Education, etc." This video was done by Sandra, Tech and Lifestyle. I have to redo this video because I did it earlier and my audio wasn't working. Yeah, it happens sometimes. So I'm about to redo this video, react to it. And it's one of the things I've been talking about when people are looking for advice on YouTube. How do you vet? And I'm going to kind of explain that while we react to what she's saying. So I'm going to skip through her intro and we're going to get right into the meat. Let's go.
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Sandra and I make videos all about cybersecurity, having a career in technology, which is what is an SOC analyst, which is also sometimes referred to as a cybersecurity analyst. So I'll also go into the nuances of the role just because a lot of companies can actually use an SOC analyst and a cybersecurity analyst interchangeably. We'll also be discussing the tools and the skill sets needed, as well as salary expectations, of course, and things like job requirements and education requirements. Okay, so the easiest way of explaining what an SOC analyst is, or a cybersecurity analyst, is essentially with the metaphor of the wall, kind of like in Game of Thrones. So essentially, cybersecurity engineers are the ones who build the wall, and then cybersecurity analysts or SOC analysts are the ones who man the wall. So they are usually the ones to first respond to cybersecurity incidents or any cybersecurity events that take place in your company. They're probably reporting on incidents and dealing with incident response, threat and vulnerability analysis. And for those of you who may not be familiar, SOC stands for a Security Operations Center. So essentially you're an analyst working in a SOC or an SOC. As someone who's previously worked in a cybersecurity analyst role.
All right, so I'd like to pause it right there. A great analogy. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so yeah, I'm one of those people. But what I can say, what I typically try to tell people what a SOC analyst is a combination of like a paramedic, policeman, detective, fireman, all those things. The firemen and the policemen and the paramedics, most of them are first responders. So SOC analysts are typically first responders to threats in your network, because they come in through the logs and they're reviewing alerts and logs daily. So I typically like to refer to them as that. And as you said, they are working on multiple things, whether it's just monitoring, threat monitoring, or incident response, vulnerability assessments, you name it. Depending on your SOC, you can be looking at a lot of things. But let's continue. Oh, by the way, hey, you guys like this camera? This is not my Sony. This is the Logitech Stream Cam. I'm testing it out for some reactions. If not, I can always go back to the Sony. But yeah, let's get into it.
I basically just worked right along the cybersecurity engineers, and a lot of your time is going to be spent monitoring and trying to detect different threats that might be coming into your company, or maybe doing research on attacks that may be happening to other companies in your sector or directly related to yours. So what your day-to-day looks like as a SOC analyst is probably going to be somewhat similar to having some kind of dashboard or some kind of reporting tools or technologies that your company has to let you monitor different events that are coming in, or maybe other users are reporting these events, or maybe you're manning some kind of suspicious email box, and anytime a suspicious email gets sent to someone in your company, they may forward it to you in this inbox, and you're probably going to be digging through it, seeing if it's legit, seeing if there's any issues, checking.
Yeah, so essentially most SOCs work out of a SIM. My SIM of choice is Splunk. Splunk also has dashboards. Dashboards can be used to show you information at a high level, especially when it comes to KPIs, key performance indicators, and metrics for upper management, so they can see what's going on. And also with the mailbox monitor, same thing. You have a shared mailbox, people forwarding things to you. I had, before I left my last position, we had access to a mailbox where those suspicious emails get forwarded, or you're dealing with live events before they actually hit, like something like the SIM or something. So you see those live time and you're working on that. So she's definitely on point with what she's talking about, a SOC analyst. You know, let's spin the clip.
checking if it's a false positive, checking to see if there should be some kind of action taken, like opening up an incident, getting together a bridge line and getting people together to try to fix a problem or alleviate whatever threats are coming into your company. But 9 times out of 10, it's really just looking through a whole bunch of data, a whole bunch of events, event logs, and incident tickets that might be opened up, going through them, closing them out, speaking to whatever stakeholders that may need to be tapped on the shoulder, getting more information about the incident. So it really is kind of like a lot of detective work, but because the role is really just staring at a dashboard or some kind of incident response ticket portal, it's really going to be a lot of repetitive work, and that's the main downside I would see about a SOC analyst role. Just
She's definitely right. Last year, the ending of last year is when I kind of got basically kind of bored. Pretty much, I was lead, so I didn't even spend a lot of time in my own class. I was doing the escalations or a lot of the managerial things, and it kind of got a little bit mundane for me. So it's easy to get bored fast if you have bigger aspirations in cybersecurity. So I definitely agree with her there. With that, looking at all those rules, if someone's not doing what they're supposed to do, then you have the possibility of doing alert fatigue. And I want to say you want to keep it to probably being about, I think it's 8 alerts an hour that an analyst works. It could be more or less. I have to actually check some data on that. Let's see if I can find it. All right, so I wasn't able to find the information, and I didn't want to spend too much time looking up, but that definitely will be a video for another day. But let's spin the clip.
Just to be 100% transparent, you kind of think, wow, you're doing the cool stuff. You're going to be spinning up events. You're going to be opening up incidents, talking to different teams, connecting people together and solving a problem. But a lot of the time, it's really going to be looking through tickets and checking whether or not there is actually a problem. And if there is, that's when you take those steps to alleviate the issue. But for most of the time, it's probably just going to be looking out for events and seeing if there is something that may cause an issue, or basically looking for anomalies in whatever data that you're looking through. So honestly, it's a really good role when you're an entry-level cybersecurity person and you're trying to break into the field. I think SOC analysts are great jobs to go into because you get to learn a lot, and you also get to learn more about the cybersecurity structure of your company. Or if you're in a third party and you're working for other companies as a vendor SOC, then that's even cooler because then you get to work with so many different companies and likely across sectors. So you can really learn as much as you expect or want as a SOC analyst when you're starting out.
Yeah. Just to comment on all that, she's totally right, depending on if you're in the MSS or MSSP. So depending if you're working in the MSS or MSSP, you are either working internally or you have one big client or you have many clients. I prefer to have one big client because it's like working with many clients because they have a lot of different departments, a lot of moving pieces. And you do get a lot of information. You get to interact with different things, see how companies do things, see how they're structured. And the more time you put in, the more you learn. And you get a way to prove your value on your resume. You get taught to say, well, I helped do all these different things in my time, with this specific company. So I definitely agree with her. It's pretty fun when you have a SOC that empowers you to do things and not just copy and paste and send tickets off. So I definitely agree with her. I'm going to go to like her next section where she's talking about certifications for SOC analysts. Let's go.
A lot of your job is going to be revolved around that. And I believe there is a certification out there for incident response. It's something that one of...
Okay, all these look good except anything with EC Council. If you're in a field, you know how we feel about EC Council. It's really not too respected based on having expensive tests on top of really not being that beneficial to you. So everything good. I just actually submitted to possibly do some SANS and take the GAC sometime next year. So if that gets approved, cool. Cause, it's super expensive. It's like $7,000. No lie. The IHRP is by eLearn Security, which actually returned to the ECIR. And I want to say that certified incident response. I don't know who's over this certified computer security incident handler cert or who's over the certified incident handling engineer. But these definitely are some okay certs. I haven't fast forwarded to the video yet, but what I will say, honestly, for me to be a SOC analyst, I would say Security Plus, knowledge of Network Plus or either Network Plus certification, basic entry level cloud cert. You don't need solutions architect to be a SOC. You can have cloud practitioner or Azure fundamentals or GCP's basic cert. And then after that, you can get a little bit more advanced. You can get the CYSA, GAC has some other certs, or anybody else. But once you get experience, you can get a little bit more experience. Blue Team cert, like Dave Spring's working on Blue Team level 1. And I think some other ones out there. But I recommend a cybersecurity analyst, so CYSA plus. Definitely a good Blue Team cert that could take your skills and your triage skills to the next level. So I don't know if she's going to include that. I'm going to press play and see.
That one of my mentors on the ethical hacking team had, and it's honestly really useful if you're also, eventually going into pen testing. It's pretty nice to, be on the defensive side and then eventually go into the preventive side, where as an ethical hacker, you're making sure that web applications are as secure and safe as possible from external and internal threats. So you really get the best of both worlds. So if you're starting out as an SOC analyst and eventually want to go into red team or pen testing, it's definitely a good route in because you already have that broader knowledge.
I have to disagree. Don't get anything EC Council. Pen Test Plus is a better cert than that. You have the EJPT from eLearn Security. Of course, you got the OSCP and all these other different offensive security certs. They are much better certs than anything you can get from EC Council until they change. And they've been doing some other shady stuff that you just have to research. I wouldn't suggest getting a cert from them. It doesn't mean much anymore.
Knowledge of understanding.
If you're in a government sector, probably so. But for the most part, it doesn't mean much. Let me see what she says. Let's see.
Involved to see if it's actually a threat or not. So if you're someone who is willing to learn and come into cybersecurity, some of the stuff might be repetitive in terms of your day-to-day job. You're checking different user alerts, you're checking support tickets, you're checking security logs, and a lot of times they can be false positives. Not every single event that's thrown your way is going to have some kind of incident spun up, which obviously is a good thing, but it can also lead to burnout if you're just staring at a screen all day long, waiting on these requests to come in and closing them out, especially if they're always looking the same. It kind of gets to you a little bit. And obviously,
definitely. And one of the things that companies are trying to remove to SOAR, and that's automation for security, orchestration, automation, and response. This is meant to free up analysts so you don't spend so much time looking eyes on glass. That's what we call it, eyes on glass. So she's definitely right, because in a good day, nothing's happening, but it's extremely boring. You want something to happen, but at the same time, you don't. That's why it's very essential. Tuning is very essential when you're working in the SOC, which is one of the things I did a lot. I was with the different teams with anomaly detection and content and the SIM engineering team. We always were meeting up and I'm bringing rules to them or vice versa. They're looking at the stats, hey, this didn't get escalated. And we're trying to reduce noise. The more noise you reduce in the SOC, the pretty much the better that the SOC will perform and less incidents that could potentially transpire. So she's definitely right. It can get to you if you're looking at the same thing all the time. Let's look at this real quick. Some tools used by SOC analysts.
Use or cybersecurity analysts. Many of them are open source, so you can probably just check them out on your personal computer, but you'll likely have an IDS or an intrusion detection system, which is pretty common across most SOC teams. It usually monitors some kind of traffic to a website and tries to detect any anomalies, some kind of vulnerability scanner, Maltego, Vega, HoneyNet, different CM tools, or
these are all great open source tools. I've used, of course, Splunk is not necessarily open source. You can download a free tool for Splunk, but it's not the same as having a real one in prod. Snort is cool. Elk is cool. I use it a little bit. Wazoo. These are all some great tools you can put on. You can download them and use them on your resume, but you want to make sure you do meaningful projects to show that you know how to do these things on your resume. Let's see what other sections she has in here. She has created a cybersecurity newsfeed. Let's see what she has to say about that.
Kind of like an RSS feed for yourself for cybersecurity news, because even though news may not be something specifically that your company is going to provide you, I actually use an app called Feedly on my personal phone, and I basically subscribe to the RSS feeds of multiple cybersecurity blogs and white hat hackers that I keep up with, and I scroll through their articles throughout the day or whenever I am able to. And if you maybe have some downtime, that's a great way to kind of keep up with cybersecurity news and attacks.
She's right. If you're a member of my Slack group, you can see right here that I have this channel called Security News. And it's filled with NIST news, Bleeping Computer, I think I have Digital Shadows and some other companies on here. I keep on adding different feeds to it because they're always keeping me updated on what stuff is coming out. When I think it's very important, I send it to Twitter and my LinkedIn folks so they could be notified of what's going on. And here's a gem. When you're in job interviews, sometimes the interviewer will ask you, hey, how do you keep up with information security news and events? So I'm subscribed to news places like Bleeding Computer. I'm subscribed to Krebs on security. I listen to Darknet Diaries. And also Twitter is a good place for it. You find a lot of information on Twitter, Reddit now. So the answers have changed a little bit, but if you could give them those answers, they are also aware because they know. Because I remember before I left, we were dealing with this browser plugin that did a little bit too much for a browser plugin, and everyone on Reddit was talking about it. CrowdStrikers finding it on a lot, and we figured out how to mitigate that because we didn't like it in the environment. But let's move along. Let's see what else. I don't want to hold you guys here too long. Let's see.
Security attacks. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to discuss was salary. And obviously this is a pretty big topic, especially if you're coming into cybersecurity from a different sector or a different role. But based on salary.com, the average salary of an SOC analyst ranges from about $76,000 a year to about $109,000 per year. And this is
I said it's about spot on about what my clients get offered. Sometimes it's a little lower than that 70,000 range based on where they live. And so I don't want you to think you're getting lowball. Pay attention to your standard of living in the area and how much things cost and go from there. So if you're making $30,000-$40,000 and then they offer you like 65, 68, take that because that's still a good deal. Most companies are offering bonuses and stock, options as well. So I believe this is about right, especially the way it's going. Stocks are becoming more and more important. You'd be surprised some companies don't even have stocks. So definitely, this is good information. So far, I'm impressed with the video. Let's see what else she has to say about salary real quick.
And this is throughout the US. So obviously this will vary significantly, could vary pretty significantly depending on where you're living and the cost of living in whatever city or state that you're living in. And it'll probably
told you.
Really vary, especially if you're outside of the US. So definitely do some research on salary expectations for whatever country and company that you're working for to ensure that you're getting a fair rate for the work that you're going to be doing. But based on this range, the average salary is about $90,000 per year, which honestly is a lot considering SOC analysts are kind of usually entry-level roles or roles for cybersecurity professionals in their early career. So making $90K a year as a SOC analyst with just 1 to 3 years of experience is obviously a very good
salary, life-changing money, and that sets you up to keep on making more money in your career. So don't be too greedy in the beginning. Get your experience, and the money will come. Now let's see what she's talking about right here, and then I'll close it out.
Is the job requirements and prerequisites for the job for an SOC analyst. And this could be education, years of experience, things like that. So like I mentioned earlier, SOC analysts usually are more of an early career kind of job. Of course, there are more senior roles, but when you're first starting, you're probably going to be in a more entry-level role. These are likely not going to require more than a handful of years of experience, and you could probably get a good entry-level SOC analyst role with just 1 to 3 years of experience. Now, there's a good amount of SOC analyst roles that do require a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree in some kind of IT, networking, computer science, or computer engineering degree. But I do think that there is a huge change going on right now in terms of the job landscape and what employers are really looking for in terms of prerequisites. Because companies are finding that when you hire someone straight out of a bachelor's program, they may have no hands-on experience with networking, they may know nothing about vulnerability scanners, they may not even know what a SIEM is or an SIEM, but the person who graduated from a boot camp where they had hands-on experience working with different tools, working with open VAS, like they're the ones who are likely going to perform better on the job.
Listen, she's right. I have a master's, I have a bachelor's. I didn't know much when I graduated from my bachelor's. That's why I had to go on the help desk route, because the curriculum in school didn't teach me anything. And I'm telling you guys now, review these curriculums and compare them to the jobs you want. If they don't line up, don't do it. Look at something like WGU that has stuff that lines up with, the different jobs you can do. So she's definitely right. These boot camps are definitely becoming more and more major. Shout out to Mary with My Tech Best Friend. I shouted her out also in my book. She runs a lot of different boot camps where she's helping people get great jobs, transitioning or already in tech. So check her out. And yeah, she's right. So don't always hang your head on, oh, I got a degree, they're going to hire me. That doesn't mean a thing at all. Like she said, most of them don't know anything. So shout out to her. I'm going to stop right there because this is definitely some good information. I'm going to put the link to her video in here. That way you can check her out and go follow her. Go follow and subscribe and hit the like button on her video because this was definitely some good information. But yeah, man, so this is like one of my first reactions that I did in a while. I plan to do some more. So if you guys enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, share it out to your friends, and it's your boy HD. I'm out.